Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about Stephanie Buttermore. Before we get into that, I know my hair looks crazy. I'm currently growing it out right now, and I'm also doing a thing where I do not wear a hat because I've been wearing hats way too much and I actually ended up getting, you can't really see it very much, but I had a really bad tan line right here where this was very white and then the rest of my face was tan. It looked ridiculous, so I'm trying to not wear hats, but I don't really know what I'm doing with my hair. So please just act like I don't have any hair, okay? Thank you. Now that that's out of the way, so if you're not familiar with Stephanie Buttermore, I assume that you are. I will link a few of the videos that I've made in the past, but Stephanie Buttermore, she's been popular for a while, but in recent times, she got really popular because she started doing what she called her all-in series, where she talked about how she got really, really lean when she would do physique shows and stuff like that, and then she decided, well, she felt that she had some sort of like eating disorder or disordered eating, whatever you want to call it, and she wanted to change the way that she was eating, and so she decided to go all in, eat as much as she wanted, honored all of her cravings, didn't track, didn't worry about that, gained as much weight as was necessary, and then ended up finding a stable like weight, right? And so that's kind of been the all-in thing, but she's been talking about this for a few years now. And on top of that, a lot of her content has been based around loving yourself and accepting yourself, body acceptance, stuff like that. And there has been quite a bit of controversy that has happened recently. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So what is the controversy? Well, I understand how ridiculous this might seem to you, but the controversy is that she got breast implants, okay? The reason I say that it's a little ridiculous is I understand that I am a dude talking about a woman's body, and I'm sure people are going to have problems with that. Again, this video is not really about Stephanie Buttermore. It's more about the idea and the ideals and the perception that people have of influencers that they follow and the dangers of that. So again, I'm not here to hate on Stephanie Buttermore. I really couldn't care less. I really don't care that much. But I do think that the conversation talking about, you know, expanding just from Stephanie and about what this means and how this could affect you if you are someone that's following, that is something that's interesting to me because I am someone that has a following nowhere near the level of Stephanie Buttermore, but I do my best to respect my following and not ever do anything to harm anybody. I'm not saying that Stephanie is doing that, but I do think that there's conversations here that should be had, especially when we're talking about someone that a lot of their content has been about people with EDs and helping people with EDs and helping people with body dysmorphia and saying you should accept yourself and then going and getting a procedure that changes the way that you look. And so we're going to get into this video. We're going to skip quite a bit of it, but let's just jump into it. So this is the video right here. It is titled How I Feel About My New Body. And as you can tell, most people, so if you guys don't know, if you scroll through YouTube, these little peaks right here, this is what people are basically watching. And so it's clear that everyone's kind of skipping to here. This is where Stephanie ends up talking about the breast implants, the augmentation, right? And so we're going to skip ahead to this part of the video and just go from there.
Last but not least, let's do my physique update. So if you find seeing my body triggering, I love you. I will see you in the next one. This is what I currently look like. I actually have no idea how much I weigh, but I feel like my weight has been relatively stable for the past year. I know I mentioned having like ebbs and flows of weight gain, but it's been more or less consistent. I think this is where my body is happy and I feel really good at this weight.
I think that that's relatively normal. Like for me, I like weigh myself every once in a while, but I usually fluctuate between like 215 and 220. I'm not a small person, right? I'm a bigger guy. And I don't know. I do think that like over obsessing about the scale can be a problem. But again, there are times in your life that I think it's totally okay to, you know, be cognizant of the number on the scale. I just wanted to point that out.
I feel healthy. I don't feel tired all the time. My appetite is very normal. I'm not overly hungry or not hungry. Like I don't have a lack of appetite. So yeah, I feel like really good and really positive in my skin. A big part of that is the update that I have for you. This was a very personal decision, but I wanted to share with you guys that I decided to get a breast augmentation. I've always been very transparent with my body on YouTube. I mean, you've seen me in my bra and underwear more times than I'm willing to admit. So I felt comfortable telling you about this. But I do want to get ahead of a few questions that I know people will have for me. First being that I know you will probably wonder if I'm worried about breast implant illness. So nothing of what I'm about to say is meant to take away from anyone who has suffered from breast implant illness at all. However,
so yeah, if you're not familiar, I don't know much about this, but there are genuine risks about getting, implants. I mean, there's genuine risks with any sort of procedure, right, that you're doing to your body. But I did think it was interesting. So in the comments or in the description of this video, she actually writes, breast augmentation disclaimer, right? This is a very personal decision and is not a decision I recommend to others, which is just so weird that, like, for me, this is a very personal decision, and I don't know why and is not a decision I recommend to others is just weird to me. Like, why does it matter? Why not just say this is a very personal decision and not one that I really want to go into? Like, saying that you don't recommend it to others is just, I don't know, it's strange to me. Just a decision I made for myself. If you decide to undergo the procedure, it's up to you to evaluate whether or not it's the right decision for you. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just overly analyzing that, but, and then she goes on to studies about like the issues that could come around.
However, with the information we have in this moment and all the studies on silicone implants as being one of the most well-studied medical devices on the market, I am not worried about it for me personally. I thought long and hard about it. I did a lot of research and reading on PubMed. The information out there on BII is currently unclear and not conclusive. So I just made my decision on the safety reports that are clear and conclusive, and know that I did not make my decision lightly. When evaluating the pros and cons as a healthy young woman who has no history of autoimmune disease, I felt like my reasons for getting the surgery outweighed the risks. Which brings me to my reasons. You guys have seen my body up close and personal for years. I've shared extremely intimate details and showed you at my best and at my worst. With that being said, this is something that I did for me, and the specific reasons are very personal, and I'm not comfortable sharing the reasons, and I hope that you can respect that.
So I understand that me coming in right after that is a little crazy, but the way I see it, right? She's not wrong. I agree that she doesn't owe anyone an explanation. Like, as far as, like, because she's just a person, you're just a person, I wouldn't expect some random person at the gym to give me an explanation why they decided to get a surgery. I agree. But, and I know it's a big but, when you are someone that has made your entire platform and have made a lot of money and have influenced a lot of people on loving your body no matter where you are, accepting yourself no matter where you are, learning to love the curves, learning to love the non-curves if you don't have boobs, right? Learning to accept yourself, to then go and get a surgery that drastically changes how you look. Of course, the people that follow you are, some of them obviously don't care, right? It's not like this video has like a massive amount of dislikes, but of course there are going to be people that are hurt. I saw some comments of saying like, I'm disappointed. I don't know. I don't agree with that. Like, she doesn't owe you anything, but I can understand being like, I am caught off guard by this, because I would be, right? If I was a huge supporter of Stephanie Buttermore and I followed everything she did and like, and took in all the information, to then have like the complete opposite, right? It would be like me, I don't know, I've talked about not getting skin surgery, but it would be like me actively saying, you don't need skin surgery. You just need to accept yourself. People that like, you need to, like, people that get skin surgery, like, really, it would be like me being anti-skin surgery, right? And then all of a sudden being like, yeah, I got skin surgery. I don't really want to talk about why. And like, I would understand if people were like, bro, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, at the end of the day, I don't owe them anything, but I would not be, at least I wouldn't be surprised that people were like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And I feel like this is the main point that I wanted to make, that we have to be very careful of. And I hope people that follow me understand this. Like, putting so much faith and like trust in influencers is never a good idea. It's just not. Like, people are people. And a lot of times, I'm not saying this is Stephanie, but a lot of times people will have something that ends up making them popular. It becomes popular for them. And then they just go with it. They continue to go with it. They continue to go. They continue to go, right? And they might not even feel that same way anymore, but they know if they continue to talk about this thing, it will get them views, it will get them exposure, it'll make them money, stuff like that. And so they just keep going, even though they don't even agree with the thing that's happening, right? Like, something I hear a lot of is like people that are, I know this is random, but people that are like content creators about a certain video game. They loved this video game, and they became really popular talking about a specific video game, and now they hate it. They hate playing it. They don't want to play it. But if they make a video about some other video game, no one watches it, so they feel like they have to continue making content about the video game, right? I hope that makes sense. And so it seems like that's kind of probably what's happened here to a certain extent, right? Like, if Stephanie doesn't feel the same way that she did at the start of this whole journey, I can see being terrified to say, maybe I don't agree with that anymore. Maybe I've changed my mind. And so now there's been, I don't want to say it's like an insane amount of backlash, but there's been people that are vocal about it. Like, I was looking at the most recent comments, and a lot of them are very supportive, but like this one, right? Girl, can you please talk about anything else but All In? Please, it's been literal years. Because of this, I've unsubbed from your fitness content because now it's so different. I understand this has been your life. Do you still think about food every day now? Your vlogs make it seem so, right? Greg Doucette has some good points. So Greg actually made a video about this recently, which I recommend you check out. She's in it for the money, and y'all have been guzzling up her Kool-Aid like it's gospel. She's leaving Jeff soon. I don't know if that's true. But it's just, I don't know. It's just like, people, you have to be careful about putting all of your trust in influencers. And I feel like there's a bigger conversation to be had about this, like when it comes to plastic surgery and getting work done. And I know there are a lot of people that are very anti, and there are people that are very for it. I don't really know how I feel. Like, I am I am of the mindset that, like, of course, people can do whatever they want, and I'm not going to sit here. Like, I don't care, really. At the end of the day, like, if you decide to get something, it doesn't bother me. But I do think that there is a bigger conversation. Like, take away the individual, talk about the societal effects of these surgeries becoming more popular, and more people thinking that this is normal. More people thinking about, because some people even commented about like her getting lip fillers. I don't know anything about that stuff, so I don't know if that's true, right? But if that's true, it's like, at what point is it like, do you accept yourself? And is it wrong to say that you accept yourself while you're getting these surgeries? I don't have the answer, but I think that having that conversation, and I hope that that's a conversation that becomes more popular, because I do see more and more and more people becoming like disenfranchised or feeling like they're not good enough because they are comparing themselves to others. And yeah, the answer that people always say is like, well, you shouldn't compare yourself to others. Of course that's the answer, right? And on an individual level, that's what I would tell someone, probably. But there's more to the conversation than the individual. I think talking about the societal effects of more people getting plastic surgery, more people getting comfortable with it, is it a good thing? Has it been a net positive? I don't know. And I understand that as a dude, it doesn't affect me as much. Like, this is something that happens with women much, much more, right? The beauty standards are much harsher to women. It's not that men don't have them, right? But I do understand that it is less of an effect on men. Okay, so I understand where I'm coming from. I understand you could say I'm coming from a place of privilege because I don't have to deal with them as much. Okay, I get it. But that doesn't change the fact that I see how it affects people in my comment section, in other people's comment section, and I just struggle to be like, what should we be doing? And so it really, I don't want to say it bums me out, but it's just interesting, and I'm curious. It's like, I know that I'm kind of going off the rails here, and like this is kind of a stream of consciousness, but like it's kind of a bummer, honestly, that she doesn't want to share it, because like why she decided to get this. And again, I understand you don't owe anyone anything, but I do think that there are a lot of people that are curious, and I feel like they're curious for a good reason. And I don't know, it's just interesting to share all of this other stuff, and then you do this thing that a lot of people would say is against what you've been talking about forever, and then you don't even really explain why. It just leaves like a lot of loose ends, I guess. But I don't know. That's basically all I'm going to show of the video. This is pretty much the end of the video. I don't know. Like, this is just like, I'm kind of still processing it, and I'm curious as to what other people think. Hopefully I explained how I feel. Like, at the end of the day, I don't have an answer. I don't know exactly how I feel, but I know how it makes me feel, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I just wanted to share that. Wanted to share my thoughts, my opinions. What do you guys think? What do you think? Is it good? Is it bad? In the middle? I don't know. You let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.